Hi, it's Russ from Product Expert, and I've got myself a copy of the Waves Vitamin plugin. The best way to explain it is it's a kind of enhancer. It has a combination of EQ and compression and saturation over 5 different bands, and also the ability to change the stereo depth of those bands as well. So you can have them virtually mono all the way through to wider stereo, which is very useful in certain contexts, such as when you're mixing or mastering. And it has changeable crossovers. And it also then has trim controls as well, so you can balance it all out. Plus a kind of transient processor on the master section, which can make the track either much more punchy, or you can pull it back and make it more warm, or should I say warmer. So let me go through it first. At the top here, you've got the display of how the processing is going on, and it's over obviously an EQ range of 16 to 16K showing there on the screen. Here you can change the crossover points at which these bands are going to work. So we go low to high over 5 bands. You can see that low, low, mid, 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 and high. Then this punch control. Then you can feed the direct in and out of it. So you can remove the direct and just have more of this. It always doesn't sound brilliant, so it's worth using it as a kind of pullback device, but not taking it all the way back, and I'll show you in a while. Then let's say you have these stereo width modes where you can make things very mono or much more stereo. And that is very useful, actually, and I'll show you that in a while. Then you have a width master, where you can make all these move at the same time and kind of do a relative change across the whole section of what you're working on. And then we have a input and an output trim, and it's worth actually trimming when you bring audio in, because sometimes when you really start punching it in, these dialing in these numbers, you'll end up with clipping. It says it's a 32-bit piece of processing, so it should be able to go beyond 0 dB. Which is useful to know. So bear that in mind when you're using it. And then we have an input and an output meter with clipping indicators here at the top, which hopefully you shouldn't see as I'm using it. So I'm going to show you on solo instruments first, and then we're going to go on to a whole mix. So I've got it on several things. I'm going to show you it first on a drum kit, Tune Track's Superior Drummer here, and we'll get the drum track up. And first we'll take it out, and I'll play it you. Then we bring it back in again. As I say, we can then just start pushing stuff in and out and see what it does. And we can change the crossover frequency if we want. So I've just boosted a little bit of top end. And also then we can, as I say, pull things in and out of the stereo image. So as you can see, I've pulled a lot of the bottom end in, made it much more mono, which makes it much punchier. And I've opened up the top end a bit. And as I say, we can go extreme if we want. And pull it back out again. So as I say, we could push these high mids out more, make it much more stereo, pull them right in and make it much more mono. That's a very useful feature. And so I've got the top end pushing out here a bit at the top. But when you then bypass it again, if you leave it on for a while, let me bypass it now. You can see what that's done with the sound, and of course you can be much more subtle. We've really opened that top end up, and we're going to say pull it back out again a bit more. So let me show you on a piano now. So here's a acoustic piano. Let's just... There's the original. As you can see, I've pulled a lot of the bottom end in again, pulled the low in and the mid in a bit more to give it more focus. Now let me show you also on a synth. Now I've done the opposite with the synth. I've made the synth much wider. Often when you've got big synths in and you really want to get some space out there, you can see I've really pushed the high and the high mid out, and there's the original. And really sparkled up that top end and really pushed the punch in as well. a load of mid pushed in again. Taken out. Big hole in the mid there. So it works a bit like a kind of multi-band Aphex Aural exciter, although it's not using the same technology. It's adding a bit of EQ, compression and saturation to each band, then we're mixing that in with the original, so you can pull the original out if you want. That's actually what's happening. That's what we've done. And that's then been pushed into that signal to give us the final result. Now let's hear that on a Strat, a guitar. So first we'll bypass it. So the top end again is being pulled in this time. Here that echoes right out on the edges. You can use this to pull it back in and focus it. So that all together now. Let's take the that's in on all the tracks and out. So let's show you the other way around now. Let's show it on a master only. So we get this master section. I've got it on the master here. And again, we can use it to enhance a final mix. So that's it on a final mix now. I've pulled the bottom end in again and pushed the top end out. The mids are pulled in a bit as well. We can push those out further. Just leave that on for a second so that's in. And out. Let's add some punch to it now as well. Now let's mess with the bands a bit and start moving the bands around and see what happens. So at the moment it's at 2 and 9 at the top here. Add more air in. If you want to, you can bypass any band or solo it as well and hear what's going on. I want it there instead. That's the one that's putting all the kind of focus into the track. There's all our sub, so we want to make it more sub-like. Let's say I've got that really narrow, in fact mono now. So there we go, that's Waves Vitamin. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to use, to be honest, and it does give you great results. I think the only tip I would give is not to go over the top when using it, not to make it sound like, make your mixes sound like a sheet of razor blades falling on you, or very bassy. It's well worth using subtly and really experimenting with it. And as I say, the thing is to keep going bypass and bringing it back in and just A-Bing it with the original. And you'll find you can really add some focus to a track. As I say, one last time, I'll just show you. I'll take it out the master again and just put it on the tracks themselves. And so here's the tracks without them on. Let's bring it in now. You can hear some real focus there. So there we are, kind of a set of audio contact lenses, almost, or audio glasses. It's a great addition and a nice surprise from Waves. Download the demo, check it out for yourself. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.